Hi everyone, Jody Conrad here with Recreation and Park Services again, and I've left my backyard. Not far though, I'm just up Windsor Road and I'm at Lake Provincial Park. And if you've never been here, I really recommend coming. It's a bit of a gem for sure. And a lot of people don't know where the actual trail is, but if you go to the end of the park access road, you'll see a trail sign there, or you'll see the trail go into the right there. So join me, we're gonna have a look around, we're gonna look far away, we're gonna look up close at things and see what we can find. Let's get rolling. One of the tree species that you'll find along the trail here in many places at Card Lake Park is this. This is striped maple. Some people also call it moose maple, but I like striped because it makes sense to me when you look at the bark. And if you look at the bark on this little specimen here, you can see the stripes hopefully in there. The camera doesn't want to focus on it, but the bark is very striped, hence its name. Lots of them in here, and they're really nice right now with the fresh green leaves. Here's our first wildflower specimen along the trail here. This is this plant goes by a couple different names, but has a nice yellow bloom on the top there. It's yellow clintonia, also known as blue bead lily. And you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, blue bead lily, yellow clintonia, two different colors. What's going on there? Well, basically, obviously yellow bloom, but in the fall, this plant, where the bloom is, will get a blue fruit, or bead, if you will. So it's named two names based on what it is in the fall and what it is right now in the spring/summer. So yellow clintonia, or also blue bead lily. Here's some of that beautiful, now fully bloomed out wild lily of the valley, or Canada Mayflower. The bunchberry blooms are now out in full. One of the nice things about Card Lake Park is the diversity in forest out here. Now there's obviously some large older growth forests that we're going to get into in a little bit as we go along the trail here, but here's a neat spot where the forest is changing. So you can see sunlight coming through up there, and it's sort of encouraging some growth of some new fir and hemlock in here. And I love little hemlock trees. Here's one right here. You can tell a hemlock by the lacy needles going on there, and they always have bowed heads on the top. The tops don't come to an erect point, they sort of bow over. And there's a story behind that if you come on one of our guided hikes someday, I will happily share with you. I'm just approaching one of my favorite things about this trail, and that's this big granite boulder right on the edge of the trail. There's the trail down there. And this boulder is just sitting here right on top of the ground. You can almost crawl under the rock in some places. What I love about this big boulder, other than how neat it is just sitting here, is the diversity of lichen and moss species that are growing on it. And if you stood here for a minute and actually paid attention and looked, there's literally dozens of species of lichen and moss on this rock. Very cool, and often a place where people like to pose for a photo. Come check it out. Here's just a better example of the stripes on this a little bit bigger striped maple than the first one we saw. The woods is continuing to change as we move along the trail here, and here's a nice little example of a beech tree. And if you look at the leaves of a beech tree, they're very distinctive, very sharp, sharply tipped like that, really deep venation on the leaves. And I chose this one to show you because, unlike many beech in Nova Scotia, it appears to be relatively disease-free. And what I mean by that is the bark is pretty smooth, the tree is growing nice and straight, whereas many beech trees in Nova Scotia have like a pocked bark and a sort of a crooked shape. They're really struggling. But this one does not. Now there's a history to that disease and how it got here in Nova Scotia that I don't know all about. I'd love to learn more about it if someone knows. So you can, if you do, just leave a comment in the comments below and let me know. But this is a nice little beech tree here, and there's a bunch of them growing here. And here's a big, really big old hemlock. Probably part of the reason why this park was established was some of the older growth that's in here. And that's a pretty big old tree. And believe it or not, up there, its head is still bowed, just like the little one. And here we are emerging at the tip of the trail, out at the, I guess people call it the beach area. It's a bit of a gravel, rocky beach. But Card Lake itself is a dammed system, so sometimes the water's up and sometimes, like today, it's down really low. We also haven't had much rain lately. But you can see the South Canoe wind turbines over there working away. And love this big granite boulder over here. Again, another photo op opportunity. Kids love to climb up on top of that and scout around. So I'm gonna have a look down along the shore here, see if we can find some cranberries and maybe some animal tracks. Winter chicken dinner for the cranberries. Found some, and of course these are leftover from last year. So cranberries for this season are not growing yet. They won't be out, of course, until the fall, and take a few frosts before they get in the fall, before they get sweet enough to boil down for chicken or turkey dinner. But they are here indeed. And there we have some deer tracks, probably a few days old by the looks of them, but nice to know they're out walking around here. I wonder if they like cranberries. Here's another neat track, very clear, probably pretty fresh, maybe today or this morning. That's our old friend the crow right there. Pretty cool. Here's one of the plants I was hoping to see today, and thrilled that I have, although a little disappointed that it's past its prime. So if you can just see under that top whorl of leaves, there's a bloom that's past its prime. So the petals have basically fallen off of that. But Indian cucumber this is, or Indian cucumber root, a very distinctive whorl of leaves on the bottom and then a big gap to the top whorl with a bloom that forms right underneath of it. Now I have not seen this plant in many places other than here at Lake Provincial Park. So come out and check it out when you can. I'm gonna come back next year about a week earlier and hopefully catch it in full bloom. Indian cucumber. Here's an example of a really unique plant. This is Hubble Bush, and really unique in that it has very clearly an opposite leaf system along the stem of the plant there, if you can see that. And it also gets a beautiful white flower, which there's an old one here. You can see the petals have all fallen off, but it is quite lovely earlier in the spring. Sorry that we missed it, but probably missed it by 2 or 3 weeks by the looks of that. But Hubble Bush grows pretty commonly along the trail here at Card Lake. So there you have a quick little chronicle of a trip around the Card Lake Trail here. Beautiful day for it. Do encourage you to come check it out. And a question I want to ask you all, and I'd love if you would respond. We at Chester Recreation Park Services often offer public guided hikes in places like this. In fact, Card Lake is one of the regular spots that we go and we take groups to. Now, we don't typically do it in the summer because the summer response rate hasn't been good because people are traveling and they're vacationing and they're away and such. This year, I have a hunch will be a little bit different than that. What I would like to know is that we think in our department that under current COVID-19 restrictions, we could in fact offer some small guided hikes in places like this. You know, keeping social distancing, of course, groups no bigger than 10, of course, under current restrictions. But we're wondering if folks are ready for that, if you're feeling comfortable for that. Let us know. Let us know if you'd be up for that. Would you be willing to come given the current restrictions? Would you bring your kids or wouldn't you? And please respond either way. We'd love to know. We're just trying to get a feel of the kind of things we're going to offer this summer. So let us know. And whether you choose to come with us or not, and know that the park is here, it's beautiful, it's yours. So come check it out. Always tell someone where you're going and when you're going to be back. Take some things to be safe and comfortable and enjoy it. And until next time, enjoy and explore your backyards and maybe Card Lake Provincial Park. Take care.